Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the reboot of this channel, as it were. I've decided to finally just go for it on YouTube and create my own videos talking about topics that I'm really interested in. Hopefully you'll be interested in them as well. I've decided to narrow down, for the beginning of this channel, narrow down my list of interests and specifically talk about the British royal family. Of course that does include Harry and Meghan still, because they are still members of the royal family, even though they are not senior working members of the royal family. I of course do have my favourites, which are most notably Prince William and Catherine the Princess of Wales. I suspect I'll be talking about Catherine quite a lot because she's a firm favourite of mine. So please stay tuned. I hope you enjoy all these videos. Any comments or critiques or opinions I have about the people I will speak about in these videos are purely my own opinions. I don't hold them to anybody else. I will invite you to participate in the videos and share your opinions as well down below in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Let's have a conversation, respectful. Let's be respectful and friendly in the comments and put forward our difference of opinions in a very polite and courteous and respectful way. Because I believe that is the best way to do it. We can all have a difference of opinion. We don't have to agree on anything, and I'm not asking you to agree with me on absolutely everything. If we have the same opinion, let me know. If we have a different opinion, again, also let me know. I will very much appreciate it. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel and bear with me on this journey as I figure everything out with YouTube, recording my videos, editing them, and also researching all these videos to the best that I can. I'll do my best, and once we've become a bit established and I've gotten into a rhythm of things, then I will have set days where I will release videos, etc. Much like every other YouTuber here on the platform. But I would also like us to have quite a lot of fun on the channel. Let's keep it light, let's keep it airy. Because some of this stuff doesn't really have... It's not the be all and end all, is it really? But it's just it's a topic of interest for me, hopefully for you as well. And I invite you to join me on this journey. So for today's video, I am going to be discussing Harry and Meghan's visit to Australia last week. So Harry and Meghan took part in a 4-day visit to Australia as private individuals, and this visit was purportedly by Harry and Meghan to be privately funded. There are a lot of aspects of this visit that actually didn't quite sit well with me pretty much from when they landed. I may talk about them in a different video, but for the purpose of this particular video, because I'm going to try and keep it brief, I think my main bugbear, what I noticed about the whole entire visit, was the fact that this seemed to be the half in, half out approach that Harry and Meghan set out back in 2020 when they announced they were stepping back from royal duties, in a very unprecedented move, I would argue. As you may remember, or you may be aware, that Harry and Meghan did announce this on their Instagram page. They will be stepping back from royal duties, and while supporting the Queen at the time, Queen Elizabeth II, they would also be pursuing financial independence is what they said. And that's what they've been trying to do throughout their whole time in America. Of course, they were first in Canada, and then right before the restrictions of 2020, they moved to Montecito. It was announced in the middle of 2020 that they had secured a deal with Netflix and Spotify to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. We also saw, not only did we see the interview with Oprah Winfrey and Harry's TV series, The Me You Can't See, they've given multiple interviews to different outlets, to different people. Meghan launched a brand which was initially called American Riviera Orchard. Nearly say Italian then. American Riviera Orchard. I can't even say that word. American Riviera Orchard. I think I said that right. Anyway, we all know what it was. she then rebranded it as Ever, and then a year after that launch, she announced that Netflix had partnered with her in that business. Since then, I think over the last few months or even weeks, Netflix have pulled out of As Ever, and Spotify, pretty much after the first Archetypes podcast series had finished, Spotify then announced that they were stepping away, and Meghan then gave her own announcement that she was partnering with Lemonada Media. Nearly forgot. Lemonada Media for another podcast, and it was called Confessions of a Female Founder, which also raised concerns as well, because I believe there's a content creator who actually has a channel on social media. I think maybe YouTube as well. Do correct me down below in the comments, but her brand is called Confessions of a Female Founder, so that rubbed people up the wrong way. But my point is, since they left the royal family in 2020, they have been working away to pursue this financial freedom with various projects. So as these deals have seemingly come to an end with Netflix, we haven't heard anything from Meghan or Lemonada Media about collaborating again on another podcast series. The With Love Meghan series on Netflix, which was one series in 2 parts, that has not been renewed. It's not going to be continued. Harry and Meghan's deal has now moved towards is it called a first look deal, where basically anything that they come up with, any ideas, whether it's a show or whatever it is, apologies for the noise, Netflix will get first refusal as to whether they actually pick them up on it. Of course, Harry's released his book Spare back in 2023, which was the fastest selling book on record, non-fiction, I think, and seemingly did very well from that. And so we've seen the ways in which they've tried to pursue the financial independence. Quite a lot of it, from what I've just said, doesn't seem to be going so well. Things aren't being picked up or renewed. There was a long time from the announcement with Netflix and Spotify. There was a large gap from the initial announcement of them signing a deal to anything coming to fruition. So that was the middle of 2020 when they announced these deals, and then it's the back end of 2022, after our late Queen died, when the first massive project with Netflix, the Harry and Meghan documentary, the 6-part series, landed in December 2022, which also coincided with Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, were in Boston for the Earthshot Prize. So so we'll come back now to Australia, where they were last week, from Tuesday to Friday, I believe. And again, as I said just before, this to me was illustrative of the half in, half out approach that Harry and Meghan initially wanted and initially stated in that post on Instagram back in 2020. This was I believe this trip is in direct, I can't think what the word is, not contradiction, but I think you might know what I mean. It is a direct snub, really, of the Sandringham Summit from 2020, which we all know. Harry joined the Queen, the now late Queen, Prince Charles as he was then, and his brother Prince William, in order to, like I say, reach an agreement as to what would be best for Harry and Meghan. It is understood that the late Queen was trying to be very supportive to both Harry and Meghan and to what they wanted to do, but one thing that she would not move on was this sort of duality, this, say half the year they're going to participate in royal duties and the other half of the year they are going to be pursuing financial creative projects or whatever it is, because they did later launch Archwell Productions for their commercial endeavours such as the podcasts, the TV shows, etc. But the Queen would not budge on that because there is historical precedent for that type of thing not working. I learnt today in watching a documentary on YouTube. I can't remember what it was called. But in this, it said that it is that they kind of went back in history to the now Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. I didn't know this. I learned this watching this today, that they tried very early on to maintain their private business positions because Sophie, I think, ran her own PR firm, and Prince Edward was head of, I forgot what it's called. I'll probably edit this in around this bit. But he was in charge of a studio, I believe. They both decided to leave those positions and become full-time working royals. So we have precedents there that a half-in, half-out approach actually doesn't work. And, you know, after many years, like I say, I didn't know this because I think really, I've always looked at the royal family and read things about them and, you know, seen things in the press about them, but I wasn't avidly watching them much like I do now, or as I have been doing over the last 5 years, maybe more, 6 years. Yeah, I think it's been 6, maybe more years that I've been like more involved in it, really, or commenting online and really watching things pretty closely, because I remember I've always enjoyed seeing, you know, when Prince William and Catherine were a couple, you know, way back when they were at university and in their early 20s, and overjoyed when they became engaged, and obviously when they got married. I watched the wedding, absolutely magnificent. What an amazing wedding. I think I've seen it a few times since. So yeah, it's really been the last 6 years or more that I've actually become more involved in the royal family. So I didn't know this about Sophie and Edward actually up until I was watching something earlier today. So I didn't know that they had tried this in that half in, half out approach, and that because of the scandal, it seemingly they then became full-time working royals, and it's definitely paid off for them because they're well respected, well regarded, and you know, they do have quite a following online, I've noticed. They're actually very popular. So, you know, for Harry and Meghan, there's been reports in the press going on for months now that Harry and Meghan are trying to work their way back. I think quite a while ago it was reported in the press and online that Prince Harry was trying to contact some old school friends that he hasn't been in touch with for quite a long time, in order to try and re-establish connections and friendships here in the UK. And, you know, he has been making a lot of trips to the UK, but that's for court cases or for when his father announced that he has cancer. He flew over immediately to see him. So Harry is in and out of the UK, and then there's been reports that he would like to bring his children. It is highly unlikely, I think, for Meghan to ever come back to the UK. The only reason she's been back to the UK was for the Platinum Jubilee and for the late Queen's funeral. Must say that she did not come to Prince Philip's funeral because she was pregnant with Lily at the time, so that's why she couldn't travel for his funeral. Fine, fair enough. But she did come for the Platinum Jubilee and, like I say, for the late Queen's funeral. I mean, really, Harry and Meghan couldn't have said no to attending the funeral, even if they wanted to, because they were actually in Europe. So they were here for that. And like I say, let's go back to the present, where they have been in Australia for a couple of weeks. Like I said, quite a lot about that trip. I don't quite like it because, again, I think it snubs the Sandringham Summit. It's like they've completely disregarded it. for this visit, as they have done when they've visited other countries. They've used the royal blueprint for tours, for actual royal tours. Seemingly, they've used that blueprint. They've incorporated philanthropic endeavours with the commercial endeavours in order for them to make money. And again, to me, this is in direct contradiction, or whatever the word is, of the Sandringham Summit, where the Queen said you cannot use your titles to make money. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's been said to me on social media, well, they're not using the HRH style, and it is a style. It forms the part of the title, because when they were working members of the royal family, they would be introduced as His or Her Royal Highness the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And now they're just using the Duke and Duchess of Sussex part. They still have the royal monogram, seemingly, on the stationery and things like that, things of that nature. And like I say, they're still using their titles. Obviously, Prince Harry is known as Prince Harry. His father is the monarch. When he was born, his grandmother was monarch. So, of course, he has the Prince title. But to use the dukedom, which also befalls Meghan as Duchess, that was a gift. The dukedom, these titles, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and the other titles that Harry has that also confer to Meghan, with being his wife, I mean, they're a gift. The late Queen gifted them this particular title on their wedding day, when they categorically said that they were more than happy to, I think what Meghan said was in the engagement interview, was to hit the ground running, particularly within the Commonwealth. And we know that the now late Queen did announce them or create them as President and Vice President of I forgot what it was called. It's escaped me, but it's to do with the Commonwealth and young people. Let me know down in the comments. I'll try and edit it, put an edit in here as well. So yeah, these titles were a gift. And upon their leaving, the Queen said, you can't use them. So, to be devil's advocate, okay, they don't use the His or Her Royal Highness part, but they're still using the Duke and Duchess part of the title. To me, they're still using half of the title, is how I interpret it. If I'm interpreting it incorrectly, let me know down in the comments. Let me know your perspective. Do you agree? Do you disagree that this isn't in any way monetizing the titles? Because I think what we've seen in Australia is this duality of philanthropy and the commercialisation of the titles. Harry's given speeches for which he has been paid for in Australia, as has Meghan. She participated in a girls' weekend, a women's wellness weekend or something, and she was there for 2 hours, gave a speech, and left to go and watch a football match. I think it was a football match in Sydney with Harry. And yes, she received a fee for that, and we have seen that within hours of being at the Children's Hospital, homeless shelter, the Veterans Museum, or visiting Bondi Beach, or taking a walk, Meghan has she's made money from the outfits that she's worn, because it was announced to us during this visit that in a platform she has invested in, I think it's an AI driven platform called One Off, Meghan features on this website, and all of her outfits down to her earrings and everything are already on the website within hours of appearing at these different events. Again, to me, that is directly making money from the title, because it's not like she's being called Meghan, she's being called the Duchess of Sussex. We've seen the introduction of her appearance on MasterChef Australia, where the host enthusiastically introduced her as, she said that they previously had royalty, MasterChef royalty on the show before, but now they have, I don't know if she said, I'm not going to quote her, but it's almost like she said direct royalty. And Meghan was introduced as the Duchess of Sussex very enthusiastically, and yes, Meghan took part in this episode, and to provide mentorship and guidance. Given the headlines she's received for her With Love Meghan cooking show or lifestyle show, there's been questions about whether that's appropriate, particularly as she was dubbed somewhere in the press as Salmonella Sussex for wearing jewellery while making a cake or handling raw chicken. I think is the main thing. She was handling raw chicken with jewellery on, and anyway, I'm not going to go there. Again, that's something else I can always discuss another time in a video. But yeah, so her appearance on there, she definitely received a fee for, and again, within a couple of hours, her outfit is on this platform that she is also invested in. So that is just blatantly making money off her title. Everybody knows who she is globally because she married a prince. If she was in her role in Suits, and she has been on a cooking show before while she was filming Suits, she did participate in a cooking show, sort of a similar thing, a similar role rather, and I don't think many people knew she was then, but they definitely know who she is now, even if you know none of this bothers you, it doesn't interest you, the royals don't interest you, whatever it is, you kind of know who she is. You'll know something about her, whether it's her being an actress or marrying a prince, or the fact that she's left and the things she said about our royal family. I think everybody somewhere knows something about her now, because obviously she started dating Harry around, well, it was 2016, so it was 10 years ago. Not exactly sure on the exact date or month, I mean I wasn't there, but anyway, so she's participating in these events, she's been introduced as Duchess of Sussex, whether it's a charity thing or a private business event like the Wellness Weekend. It's pure commercialisation of the titles, and Harry's done it as well. So I'm not going to lay everything on Meghan Markle and say it's just her that's doing it. Harry's doing it as well. He has been doing it. Meghan does it more blatantly, I feel like. I feel as though everything she does, you know, she's putting it on Instagram or it's up on a website, or I don't know, it just seems more blatant. And I don't like it. I think it's almost at this stage, particularly with this visit to Australia, which is a Commonwealth country, they are being allowed to do this. Someone somewhere has greenlit this, said, yep, this is fine, you can do it. And I don't like it because, again, this is a direct contradiction to the Sandringham Summit, and I don't like it. You're not supposed to commercialise your titles, you're not supposed to be making money off your titles, and that's what they've done, not just in Australia, but Meghan's done it with, as ever, we've seen personalised notes shown on people's Instagram when she sent them some jams or whatever it is, and it's on there. It's like she signs off as the Duchess of Sussex, so that's not quite right. And then obviously on the back of this trip, I think to try and deflect from the criticisms they've had, Meghan has now dropped 2 new candles on her As Ever website. One of them is for Archie. Is it 5? I think it's 506, because it's to do with Archie's birthday, which is the 6th of May. So 506 makes sense. And the ingredients of this candle are ginger, neroli, and cashmere. I don't know if she's highlighting the fact that he's ginger. Don't know. And then the candle for Lily obviously has her birthday on, and I've forgotten. Let's have a quick look. Let's go on thine iPad and have a quick look. Do you know, I've probably bookmarked it, and actually it's going to be somewhere in bookmarks, which is a massive, massive list. Oh, there it is. Is it 601? Let's get a better picture. Yes, so I found the pictures on X, and yes, the candle for Archie is number 506 with ginger neroli and cashmere, so I remembered correctly. And then the candle for Lily, I'm trying to have a closer look so I can't see, even though this picture is huge. I'm going to have to get my eyes tested. Is that a 1? It can't be. No, it's not. Don't be silly. No, because she was born in June. I'm going to have to Google now when Lily was born. But Lily's candle is scented with amber, water lily, and is that Santal? Santal? Let me know down in the comments how to pronounce that, because I'm probably saying it incorrectly. Oh, she's released chocolate with it as well, which actually doesn't look that great. No, thank you. Oh, 604, of course, 4th of June. There we go. There we go. So now she has launched 2 new products for Mother's Day in honour of her children. People have said that is also her monetizing the titles, or her children's titles. I mean, their titles aren't on these candles. Again, well, maybe not again, but I'm trying to be fair. Trying to be fair to Meghan. Let's try and be fair. They're not called Prince Archie or Princess Elizabeth. But I understand what people are saying. She's launched these candles. It's for Mother's Day. And the numbers, I think it's cute to, you know, commemorate the, you know, celebrate the birthday and to tie it in with their birth date. But again, it doesn't have Prince or Princess on it, but I understand where people are coming from when they're saying she's monetising the children's titles. I mean, to be fair, she has included the children in social media posts for other things, like her, I don't know if they're artificial flowers in these flower boxes with certain kinds of products that you can get for what, $200-300, something like that. She has had the children in her promotional material for certain products, like on the website. I think initially when she launched the website, the homepage, it showed her in the distance holding Lily's hand and seemingly they're running across the garden. So she has used the children in that way. Monetising the titles, though, is that not a bit of a stretch when it comes to the children? Don't know. I don't actually, because it's children, I don't actually like to make comment, because they're children. You know, Meghan's she's a grown woman, she's a grown adult. She does what she does. But comments on the children and saying she's monetising their titles, I mean, perhaps. Again, I can see where people are coming from, but, you know, sometimes I think, oh, it's a bit of a stretch. I have my critiques of Meghan Markle, but sometimes I read other people's and I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch. But basically, as it pertains to Australia, I think she's been, both of them actually. It's not just Meghan. It's not just Meghan. We can't land everything on Meghan. I know a lot of people do and want to, but we have to acknowledge Harry's participation in this as well, because he's a grown man. As adults, you take responsibility for what you say and what you do, and he is seemingly more than happy to do this. He said things about his father and how he's had to cleanse himself of his past in a speech, and this is a speech he's getting paid for in Islam, and his father is recognised as king in Australia because it's a Commonwealth country, and King Charles is head of the Commonwealth. So Harry, maybe don't. Your dad's not well. Just don't. I think they've both just done so much, and I think and I don't know why, I mean, to me, maybe because I've paid more attention to Australia than I have the visits to anywhere else, but I mean, they're of a similar thing as well, where they've monetised the titles. The only reason they've gone to different places and had what's adjacent to a royal visit, even though they are private individuals, they're not senior working members of the royal family anymore, they're still there because of their titles. So they're using their titles to a certain extent, and it's just, I don't know, I think with Australia, maybe because it's, I don't know, I don't like it, maybe because actually the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is that how you say his name? Apologies if I've said it incorrectly, I'm so sorry. Please let me know in the comments how you actually pronounce it. But he did issue an open invitation to the Prince and Princess of Wales to come and visit Australia. I mean, they've not been since, well, George was a baby, so I think, was it 2014? I think it was 2014. I'll correct it in an edit, and feel free to correct in the comments as well. They've not been since George was a baby, so I think it would be fantastic if Prince and Princess of Wales were able to go to Australia. I think the timeline that was suggested was during the school holidays here in the UK, which I think would be perfect. The children can go as well, George, Charlotte and Louis. There's so much that they could do out there. And they would definitely be welcomed, and they would have crowds lined up for miles, whichever way, in order to greet them and to shake their hands, have a chat and a selfie, hopefully. And I think that would be great. And I think it would be great if they could do that this summer, even though normally they like to take the summer holidays off, and this would be a royal tour during their time off. I think it would be well worth doing because the children are going to be that bit older. George is 13 in July, Louis is 8 this week, and Charlotte will be 11 at the beginning of May. So I think it will be fantastic. I think they're of an age where I think it will be great for them to all go, and to show actually how a royal visit is done, how you shine a spot, how the royal family are there to benefit the country and to highlight charitable causes, and well, just again, like I say, show them how it's done. Because let's face it, there weren't massive crowds in Australia where Harry and Meghan went. There may have been a few people, there may have been a group of selected people. I mean, I know at the Royal Children's Hospital, their first visit, there seemingly was quite a lot of people when you looked up. So anyway, yeah, for some reason Australia's just rubbed me up the wrong way more than the other visits that they've partaken in. I think because I know they did go to Jordan a few weeks ago. I didn't really pay attention to it. Don't know why, but I've managed to pay attention to this one, and I think, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. They shouldn't have done it, but of course they're going to do it. And this is a clear illustration, again, like I said, of this half in, half out approach. And a lot of us don't like it, and we don't like that no statement has been issued by Buckingham Palace. Because again, questions have arisen like, who signed this off? Who said that You know, who's agreed to some of this? Has anyone in the palace signed off on this? And if so, why? Because they're not working royals. So I will leave it there. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think they've monetised their titles by going to Australia? What do you think about all the press beforehand regarding the petition that was signed by, I think it was around 50,000 Australians, saying that they didn't want to pay for this visit? What do you think of their visit as a whole? What's, if anything, what did you not like about it? What did you like about it? Do you think this is indirect? This is a direct snub of the Sandringham Summit from 2020. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so long for sticking with me throughout this video. I really do appreciate it. If you would like and subscribe to the channel, comment on the videos, it would really help me out. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.